It's a new month, which means there's a lot of new movies to check out. Here are 5 of the best or most anticipated movies coming out in July. First, we have MaXXXine.
I'm curious, did you always want to be in that line of work?
I always wanted to be famous.
This is the end of the X trilogy from Ty West, and while it's received mixed reviews, it is a movie that I really loved. It doesn't give Mia Goth's character as much as she had to work with in Pearl, for example. What a brilliant performance there from Goth, but it is gorgeous. It is steeped in neon and nostalgia from 80s Hollywood. It makes so many references directly and indirectly to influences of Wes, including pictures like Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course, but also to folks like Theda Bara, who was one of Hollywood's first quote-unquote sex symbols, obviously tying back to MaXXXine, Mia Goth's character. It's fun, it still honors some of the slasher tropes, and to me it was a great way to end a pretty fascinating trilogy. Next, we have Longlegs.
The letter was left with the bodies. We have 10 letters like it over the past 30 years, and all of them signed with one word: Longlegs.
This film comes from director Osgood Perkins, who some of you may know, certainly not a household name, but he directed films like The Black Coat's Daughter, which I thought was one of the more underrated films of 2015. Longlegs stars Nicolas Cage, who again has been on a roll of late in some really great, or at least good, films like Pig, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and more recently Dream Scenario. So it looks, from initial positive reviews, that he's continuing this positive trend. Essentially, it stars Cage as the title character, Longlegs, and alongside him we have Micah Andrews, who is an FBI agent trying to find Longlegs, who is essentially a killer on the loose. As the story unravels, I guess that Micah Andrews' character finds out that there's a little bit more connecting her to Longlegs than she initially thought. It looks like a really fun ride, and as I mentioned, while I haven't seen the picture yet, it has received almost universally positive reviews after playing at Beyond Fest. It was acquired by Neon, and they also have been crushing it as of late. So they seem to have a pretty keen eye about what movies will and won't work. And here's hoping that this is one that will. Next, we have Sing Sing.
What part do you play?
From time to time I do act, like we all do.
So are you acting at all during this interview?
This has been a long-awaited debut after premiering back at TIFF last year. This stars Coleman Domingo, who will almost certainly, you can quote me on this, receive a lot of award love from his performance in this film. Last year he had strong roles in The Color Purple and, of course, Rustin. While he received praise for both of those performances, it really does seem like he's building to his true breakout. I know it's strange to use that word for Coleman Domingo, but the true role that really puts him at the forefront, and it appears that Sing Sing is that role. This movie is based on the true story of the rehabilitation through the arts program at the Sing Sing maximum security prison. And in fact, some of the supporting performances in this film are actors that were in this program in prison. So basically, it shows the potential for rehabilitation, the power of the arts, the power of theater, of acting, of community, and it is a testament to the power of friendship and, of course, why we should never just judge a book by its cover. You can see for yourself in the trailers that have been released, it's sure to be emotional, it is sure to be powerful, and Coleman Domingo is probably going to be bringing home some hardware at some point. Second to last, we have a little bit of a bigger film in Twisters.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go.
This is maybe not a project that I would normally be super excited to see. It's obviously a standalone remake of the 1996, you could call classic, Twister. And on the surface, I would have pretty low expectations. I don't think necessarily that a remake of Twister is necessary, is needed, but the cast and crew behind this film make me excited to see it. It is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who directed one of my favorite films in the last several years in Minari. That was a semi-autobiographical story about family, about culture, about growing up. Twisters is a lot different, but I trust his kind of human sensibilities to shine through what is otherwise a fairly straightforward action picture. That being said, the writer of Twisters is also interesting. It's Mark L. Smith, who co-wrote The Revenant, and the actual story of which Smith then adapted into the screenplay, confusing I know, came from no one other than Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick. So the brains behind the story, behind the direction in Chung are all promising signs. Beyond that, the cast is also pretty promising. We have Daisy Edgar-Jones, who broke out in her role in Normal People. What an amazing series. Shout out to my partner for recommending that we watch that together. It also stars Glenn Powell, who is the heartthrob of 2024. It appears starring in Richard Linklater's Hitman, and then also, of course, starring in Anyone But You. And if that wasn't enough, we also have Anthony Ramos here, who is known more for his stage work, although he's been transitioning to the big screen, but perhaps most notably brought home many awards for his work in Hamilton and has also starred in The Heights. Again, on the surface, do we need Twisters? Maybe not, but the cast, the crew, the minds behind this film have me pretty excited. Lastly, we have Didi.
Are you ashamed of me?
I'm Didi.
No, you're beautiful.
I love you.
I love you.
Didi, 你们就是我的梦想。But sometimes it's a little hard.
This was one of my favorite films from Sundance this year, and I'm so happy that it's getting a fairly wide release. It is coming from director Sean Wang, who recently broke out onto the scene, albeit on a smaller scale, in his short film Nine and Waipo, which was actually nominated for Best Short at the Academy Awards and was based on his own grandmother's. Didi is also rooted in his own lived experience as a Taiwanese American. Didi does such a brilliant job of representing coming of age in the 2000s, a time in which I came of age. The use of the internet, of skateboarding, of all these things that were very significant in many young folks' lives at this time are so well represented. And a lot of this authenticity can be traced back to Isaac Wang's performance here. Such a strong, nuanced performance from a young lead. You never know what you are going to get when you're working with a child actor, but Isaac Wang absolutely knocked it out of the park here. It is a film, again, about growing up, about coming of age, but it's also a film about culture and identity, and all of these themes are so seamlessly intertwined. It really, really is a film that you should check out. It's solidly hovering around my top 5 of the year so far. If you watched this video, that's awesome. Appreciate you. Hopefully you were able to add a couple movies to your watch list, and if you don't mind liking, subscribing, commenting, those are all cool things to me, and when I post another video, watch that one too. Thanks.